Welcome to my world. I think about creating your path, creating one's own path, and it is exactly just that, taking the authority to be the author of your life. And a lot of times, life will come with its ups, its downs. Some people allow those negative aspects of just life redefine them, and they end up being the victims of their story as opposed to the designer or creator of their story.
Just one looking at you, open up my eyes, and I'll stay with you forever all the time.
In the vibrant city of Miami, in the midst of the glitz and glam, the pursuit of entrepreneurship is ever present. We're here to reveal purpose-driven individuals creating a path where only the great survive. My name is Tayo Ishola-Aranmolate. I am a person of purpose who is often referred to as a fashion and social entrepreneur. I'm also an organizational psychologist, and I'm on a mission to helping people thrive in career, life, and in their own purpose. And on this show, we are getting to the core of the true grind and what it really takes to be entrepreneurial. Can you keep up with the heat?
I just wanna give out to the rest. You love me so I could have become complacent. Not afraid of the battle.
Makes me think of like the genesis of a lot of things, and how I started as a person to even getting where I am today. I was born and raised in Nigeria. I kind of was going through life through the lenses of my mother for the most of my time in Nigeria, I would say. She had been the one who enrolled me in a beauty pageant at the age of 14. She also got me to be doing commercials and things like that. And so, but I knew that I was intelligent in the sense that we had this grading system in school where you could come first in class, and I would be the one to come first in class all the time. And so I knew that education was a huge part of what I wanted to be. But again, just going through the lenses of my mother at the time, she believed that talent was something that could make room for you. And we had gone through, she was a single parent, and we'd gone through just so much in life, and it was imperative that I was able to also help out in the family.
Hi, my name is Merle Liivand. I'm known as EcoMermaid, Ocean Ambassador. I'm from Estonia, and my favorite thing in the world is to save oceans to my friends and little kids.
So I haven't met someone who is just so enthusiastic about saving the planet by bringing awareness to the need for us to care for the oceans. Merle Liivand is an amazing woman who is a professional swimmer. Today I really am just going to be cheering her on as she prepares to take on another swimming event. She will be training soon, and so we will be talking about that. She has 5 Guinness World Records to her belt right now, and so she'll be just getting in the zone to be able to do some more. Thank you. Thank you. Food looks great.
Oh, yeah.
So, all right. Have some of this.
I ordered something because I don't eat fish because I'm a mermaid.
Oh, yeah, I know.
So
It's fine. I'm sorry. I'm violating one of your friends.
It's
I'm
okay.
having like a tuna tataki. I don't eat meat, so fish is like.
So we are balanced.
Yes, we are balanced. I was thinking though, the other day, like I just started to ponder on like just some of my own like life's journey. And then you came to my mind because I was thinking about how like when we're younger, there's usually someone that's helping us and guiding our path. And I know you'd mentioned it once upon a time that your mom, I think she got you into, I don't know if it was modeling or something like that when you were much younger. And then you had like a lung issue that got you to start swimming. And so I'm wondering, how were you able to sort of just like transition and start doing your life on your own terms after having like your mom guide your path for a long time?
Well, I think mom has played a huge role in my life. I mean, the reason why I went modeling and dancing was because when I was 1 year old, I had a dog attack and I got scars on my face, and while growing up, all the kids were making fun over that there's something on my face, and she always told me that, do you know the story of ugly duck? Ugly duck becomes prettier later in the life, but ugly duck always had a soul and always had a brain and always looked after other ducks. And she kind of planted that to me, that I have to look after other people, other souls, to be the supportive one and be pretty that way. Wow. And she kind of knew that I want to be really active and I want to be around people because maybe it's my sign because I'm Aries. But when I was constantly in and out in the hospital, it was really frustrating as a kid to understand what to do in this life when you're basically looking every day at ceiling, right, and you're told you're nothing. So, and especially looking into your mom eye now, yeah, feeling like you're failing as a kid, and then constantly having autoimmune disease issues and hearing from the family doctor that, you know, maybe we need to learn how to naturally ventilate the lungs. Maybe you should try swimming. And my mom looked at me and she said, we have tried everything. Would you like to try that? And I said yes, because I was invited for a year by my coach who saw me with my mom and dad in a pool to come and join with that team and that journey. But I wasn't really feeling it, because when you're constantly said you're number one, your life starting that you're called ugly. Yeah. Then your life starts that you're called weak. Yeah. And then now you have to go and be on a sport where there's going to be criticism anyway. Mm-hmm. I was really confused if I should take the step or not. And my mom said, you're going to first practice. We're going to talk with the coach after, and we're going to make a decision. The first practice went so well that they made a decision that I'm going to practice 3 times per week, and I'm going to keep going. And that's amazing. You know, that your mom didn't lose the belief, I think is the most best thing ever. And honestly, I want to go back to the ugly duck story. Is it planted me to fall in love with the kids and guide the kids with my struggles and tell them that it's okay. We can become pretty with our souls and brain. We don't have to necessarily be the princesses and Barbies. Yeah. And it just has been played out really well.
Wow. I think that's such like a beautiful thing, because sometimes the people that define our challenges, I feel like a lot of people have the struggle that they have because the person who gives them the meaning of that struggle is maybe misguided. So some people will have, a parent who maybe starts to pick at that issue and they give the child a limitation, but I would say your mother was kind of like an angel for you in that moment, because she was able to help you redefine this struggle that you had, and help you tap into what was inside of you. I think it's fantastic, and I know that you're going to be training, or you are training right now for your next big challenge. How far are you trying to swim this time?
Well, I'm training for multiple different challenges. First, I'm gonna fly to cold Estonia, my home country, to swim on ice swimming world championships while training on the backyard of jacuzzi. Because I did that 2018 and I was on a world record pace. And I want to do it then again, and I want to represent my country on those challenges, and especially when you're autoimmune disease athlete, it's actually more challenging,
Especially because of the cold, right?
because of the cold and the lungs. But because I overcame that once, I want to show the world you can if you put your mind and you train your mind also, because
Right.
it's a lot to do with your mind
It's a lot.
than more physical there. But then after that, I want to break another Guinness World Record while swimming 33 miles.
Wow.
It's probably going to be my 16-hour swim and going to be my last long distance in Miami, because my last record I encountered alligator and sharks. And when you're swimming on the darkness, you can't, it's not about me, it's about how I put my team into that, and I can't keep doing that to my team.
I think about my life as a teenager, having to leave home at the age of 14, and I kind of just ventured out into the modeling world at 15. I had to travel to South Africa on my own for the first time, leaving the country by myself. And so these opportunities already allowed for me to then be thrusted into making decisions where I was the author. And it wasn't always an easy journey. Creating my path was very difficult at some point, because being that young again and coming from a background where you're leaning on someone, my mother was that person for me, and so you find yourself in an environment where there's other people with different beliefs, different understanding, different behaviors, and so I very quickly found myself in a toxic environment with models that had a lot of issues they were going through as well. And so even in the model home I was staying in, there's models fighting, there's police coming to, knocking on our door almost every other night because a model has a knife out and she's fighting the other model in the room. And so for me then, I needed to really confront a lot of these demons, if you want to call it that I was exposed to at such a young age. And so to create my path then meant that I had to see beyond the limitations of my present environment. And the more and more as I was able to envision something, a life that was better, I believe that the doors started opening for me to even then have the opportunity to come to the United States.
Swimming, the tides, the waves, and all of that. Especially when you're training. I know you were telling me that you almost have to take like a scientific method to understanding when it's safe for you to go out there sometimes, where it could be jellyfish, it could be something else. When you have to encounter things like that, then how do you just keep going? Do you ever lose like some maybe muscle memory or just your training memory when you have to take a step back and not train on specific days?
No, I am really good at keeping swimming exciting. When when we have a jellyfish season, it just tells me that I have to do my work on the environmental world, more. But that means to go to pool and put like weights on and train like a Navy SEAL, exactly like train with Navy SEAL style. I have 10-pound weights what I put on my arms and ankles, or I put parachute on and swim, and it's like pulling you back like a bungee cord, or I put extra t-shirt on.
Why do you need the additional pressure, the weights? What does that do for you?
It makes you stronger. So, because in the ocean you encounter sometimes going against the current, and you are against the current for 30 minutes, 40 minutes, and you have to swim out from it. Sometimes I do train in rip currents to understand the ocean behavior, ocean strength. And on those days when we have jellyfishes, and sadly I am sensitive and I have ended up quite some time in a really emergency situation with the jellyfishes, I have to make decisions, right? So there is never ending really like, oh, now I can't train. Yes, you can train, but you just have to know how to challenge it up, maybe in a pool.
So you don't give yourself any excuses?
No. Because life can be more interesting that way, right?
That's good.
It's being like curious to swim against the current to figure out the situations. Because if you lose being curious, then you lose motivation.
Have you ever lost motivation?
In my career, for sure. But then I found this thing called mermaid character, and I started living life a little bit maybe differently on that sense, that I actually found myself. And the whole reason why I moved from a small country Estonia to Miami was because I was losing motivation. I was good at something, got to the top really fast. I was a breaststroker. I had the situations where the coach sometimes told me that she doesn't know how to get me to the next level. I had my health issues kicking in, and it was a moment when my mom actually gave me a suitcase and said, go to America. And here I am, 11 years later.
That is interesting that your mom was like the one who cranked the ignition and said, it's time for you to go.
Well, I said every day I would like to move somewhere warm because of my lungs and learn Spanish. Miami was perfect place to be and find myself. And I kind of say that I had restart because I always knew who I want to be, and today I am that person. But while growing up in Estonia and while struggling with my health and all the issues of being one of the best in the country, I hit the rock bottom on the sense that I know what kind of person I want to be, but I'm not in the right environment. And I think that brings me a lot, that I want to be in a blue ocean, and Estonia didn't have that.
The environment, that is powerful. For instance, I had this lady who was experiencing a lot of conflict in her business. And as we talked about earlier, where sometimes conflict is happening and you're beginning to absorb that conflict that is being given to you. And she started to almost become that conflict because she's always fighting in the environment. And my solution, what I told her was that it's time for you to leave. That place is not flourishing, but it was hard for her because she'd been so used to, I want to fight, I want to hold it down, I want to do all of that. But sometimes we don't think about how the environment has to also support what we're trying to do. And so you coming to Miami, you feel like Miami allowed your dreams to flourish?
Yes, because these people who are maybe trying to stop you or trying to show you that it's impossible what you want to achieve, they're not ready to receive you. So why you are there? Go there where you can finally receive your own talent and kind of, bloom that way. Me coming to Miami, it was first 2 years were hard, and I didn't understand why I even made this decision. It was so hard. But then I understood one thing, that I have a vision what I want to be and who I want to be. And I knew it at the age of 14 what type of businesswoman I want to be. And I knew it what kind of relationship I want to be. And I knew it not to fall off that path. Because these people, some point, will be ready to receive you. It's just the energy is not there.
It's not there.
And you have to kind of like forgive them.
Yeah.
And you have to say them, one day you will be inspired with me.
It's like the winds and the waves.
Exactly.
Sometimes that external is not ready for you to go in that day. And you have to be able to know that today is not the day, and you have to be able to discern it's not time to jump in yet.
You have to also, like I said, you have to show up on a sense that you have to listen the waves. That's also showing up. That it's not like, oh, take my bag and walk away. No, you have to still observe, why is this happening? How this is teaching me to grow the muscle.
You know the story of Odysseus? Remember the Odyssey? I don't know if you know that story about the hero goes out, takes a trip in the ocean. There's like the waves, the boat is gonna capsize and all of that. Do you ever feel like you're a hero where you have to, or you've had to, go out there and do something, but you've had to isolate yourself sometimes, and you come back with new knowledge, new wisdom?
Oh yeah, I think the best thing what human can be is to be a phoenix who rises up after.
Phoenix. I love it, a phoenix. Yes.
Because, and also when you achieve a lot, that doesn't mean now you have to be like, hey, I'm here, like, what's up, right? Constantly redemption, constantly coming back, constantly saying that doesn't work. We need to find something new. Like I said, you have to. People these days give up so easily. But the life, we always say life is a journey, not destination. Journey on that moment. Because sometimes you have to go back and say, these old books are not helping me to serve. How I can grow and maybe be ready to receive it. Be ready to receive that things have to go different way.
It's beautiful. Even thinking about the phoenix, because sometimes when the phoenix is going through that phase of its shedding off, and you can think it's even dying. You can think it's not going to come back up. It's done, and then you take flight.
And I learned that actually from practices in the ocean. When you're against that current and you have that current is like not coming on your left side, it's coming like on your back, on your left, on your right, and you're like on a tunnel, and you're like, it's trying to shake me so much, and I can't change my technique, or something is happening, and the ocean is just telling you, hold on, don't give up, but don't slow her down. Be ready, but be patient. And I think being there with the ocean and learning the language of the nature taught me a lot of other things.
You have to learn the language. I love it. I think that's one of the most powerful things that I'm learning as I grow older, is that everything in nature is pointing at a principle that we can use for life. that even
listen.
everything is speaking. And that's something that's why I'm really loving this conversation I'm having with you right now, because sometimes when people even say they want to swim out and go venture and be an entrepreneur, I don't think they're really ready for what they're about to do, because the moment you take that step out, there's no going back. You have to just keep fighting, and you will come against the tides, right? And you will come against things. But I always say that death that you're feeling is not really death. It's going to bring you to that next version that you need to be. And I'm even learning something for myself right now. I know how to focus on a thing and brood over it, but there are times where once I do it for 2 hours, I want to stop and I want to, but it's teaching me that just keep going and take the pain, because out of that pain is going to come something even much stronger, that would push you towards where you're trying to go as a person.
Tayo, but those are the moments when you have to sit down just for 15 minutes and listen, the bird sound, the ocean sound, just the nature. Those are just
Your listening moment.
just 15 minutes can make a difference to come back stronger and better. Social media doesn't teach that to entrepreneurs.
Right.
Social
You
media
gotta keep
says
going.
like
Don't
keep
stop,
going.
never stop. No.
That's a macho side.
Yeah.
Mother Nature, who is the most powerful place.
I mean, we all have to sleep. That already tells us something about life. Is there has to be a sleep and awake cycle.
Exactly.
So.
And you said there are moments when entrepreneurs like try to swim in and they don't understand. It's also showing up to your words, right? And you have to understand that you are here to balance that with your mission, right? So there are so many people who want to be entrepreneurs today, but they don't understand that even showing up to the words is important. Don't be a social media model, be a role model. And that's what every entrepreneur should be doing.
That is powerful when you say be a role model, because sometimes we focus on the title, but we don't focus on the role. That is beautiful. Because when you focus on the role, you focus on everything that it takes to get to fulfill that mission.
And the same is in swimming. I can have bad practices over and over again, and I have to sit back and say, okay, I said I'm gonna go to this competition, I'm gonna break this Guinness World Record, but things are not working out. What I have to do? And you have to listen to signs. If you miss the signs, the data, the little things, you miss the big picture. And that, what I learned from sports, and I do that every day as an entrepreneur.
Beautiful. Very good. Awesome.
While I'm in Miami, I am back to the dreams I had of my education that I felt had been halted. Beautifully, because of how well I was doing in school in Nigeria, I had already graduated high school at the age of 14. So I had all the documentation that I needed to go to college. So that was the next thing for me. At this time, I was starting to form a relationship with my father, and he felt like he wanted to be a part of what I wanted to do. So he did say to me, whatever you want to do, I'll pay your tuition. And so I got enrolled in Miami-Dade College. I started business administration. And first semester, second semester, he was able to pay my tuition. And in the third semester, he said to me, one of my brothers, which is a son he had, from another marriage, was going to school in the UK, and he had to divert all of the funds to be able to sponsor him. And so I was very bitter because I felt like I wasn't the priority. I felt like the outside, I felt like the outside child type of, and I wasn't very happy about it. But I knew that I was going to finish. So I finished my associate degree. And towards the end of it, I said, you know what, I'm going to use this and I'm going to start creating my path. And so I started my fashion brand, I Am Ido, which was called Ido Swimwear at the time. And a lot of my heart and purpose just went into it. The name of the Ido means to be aware. And that was a point in my life where I was beginning to have an awareness of who I was, my purpose, and understanding that life will create these scripts for you, and it's for you to pick it up and start creating this movie with all of that life has given you. And so I did have to hold my education for about 4 years, but as I was building that brand, I was building to the point where I was able to go back to school comfortably. I paid cash for my education, to my bachelor's degree and my master's degree. I'm saying all of that to say that in creating your own path, it's really just the ability to see the purpose in everything that's happening to you, being able to weave out a story that is something that, instead of it crushing you, it's something that you can use to then pass on the baton maybe to someone else, and give hope to someone else. And so for me, to define creating your path means capturing every moment in the story and the things that are happening in your life, and being able to understand that you're on the right path to where you need to be going.
Just when looking at you, open up my eyes, and I'll stay with you forever all the time, and I'm stepping out to leave it all behind. I'm confident your love will be my side. Just when looking at you, open up my eyes, and I'll stay with you forever all the time, and I'm stepping out to leave it all behind. I'm confident your love will be my side. Hold out your hand, yeah. Every day you're with me when I think I can't stand, yeah. You got big things coming, part of your plan, part of your